Good evening, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the Bearded IT Dad. Tonight, we are talking about trying to find time to study for your IT certifications in this busy world. After that, we are going to open up and go to the chat and answer any questions you might have about either finding time to study for your certifications, different study methods you might have questions about, or just anything in general about the IT field. So stay tuned because we're starting after this. If you're like me and studying for your A+ certification or any other IT certification, make sure and check out Pluralsight. With over 5,000 different IT courses to offer and key tools such as practice exams and mobile content, Pluralsight is one of the leading IT e-learning platforms. Use the link in the description to receive a free 10-day trial. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to this evening's episode of the Bearded IT Dad, where tonight we are talking about trying to find time to study for your IT certifications in this crazy busy world. Everything's turned upside down right now. You have COVID going on, tons of people out of work, just a lot is going on in this world right now. And a lot of people are working multiple jobs. You might be working multiple jobs, you might be unemployed, but trying to work gigs on the side to try to keep ends afloat. You could be in your same job and not affected at all by this pandemic, but you are ready for a career change. Maybe this has opened your eyes to maybe you're not in the right career field. Maybe you're unhappy with your job, and you know that you're interested in moving into the IT field, but you don't know where to find time to study to make that leap. Well, tonight, I'm hopefully going to give you some pointers on that. I'm also going to talk about some different study methods you might try and utilize. And like I said, at the end of this, I'm going to open up the chat, or the chat will be open the whole time. Feel free to answer, drop a chat, put any questions you might have. But we're going to talk about anything IT related that you might want to talk about, anything you might want to have questions. So let's dive into this. One of the first things is, I can relate to this. Back before I started my IT journey, I was a bulldozer operator. I had a very cushy job. I could have made it a very good career. I could have retired from the job. I would probably be financially better off than I am right now. But I was miserable. I was getting very bad anxiety every single day, every single night of work. I had maxed out. I had nowhere to progress in my job. I was a supervisor at the time. Not a supervisor, but a lead operator. I had people under me. So there was no job progression. I would just get my annual raise every year, and I could have been content with that. I could have been happy with that, but I wasn't. I always liked the challenge. I always wanted to be in the IT field, so I pulled the trigger. I decided to start studying for IT certifications, and it was a YouTube channel just like this that got me motivated to find time to find ways to study for my IT certifications. That was IT career questions. And Zach, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be talking to you guys right now if it wasn't for Zach over at IT Career Questions. So if you're not following him, go check him out. He's a great guy. He knows what he's talking about. And I would never have got the courage to make the change if it wasn't for him. So one thing I started doing is at work every single night I would study. I would find any free time on my breaks and start watching videos for, about topics I was interested in. Sorry, we're trying a new streaming platform, and I was just looking at it, and one of my streams isn't coming out that well. But we won't worry about it. Tectonic, welcome. I see you in the chat. Let's see if this works. Hey man, how's it going? Anyways, Where was I? So I just wasn't happy. So I made it my goal anytime I had to study just to try to start studying. But I didn't wait until I had my certifications to start applying. I had no formal experience, no certifications, no college degree. I got my high school degree, um, but I had no formal job experience in the field. But that didn't stop me. I went out and applied for several jobs. I went out and bought networking gear so I could start labbing because I was interested in computer networking. And whenever I had a free 20 minutes, I started studying. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking is, man, I don't even have 20 minutes to spare. You have it's all about give and take. It's very tempting at the end of the day to come home, plop on the couch, turn on Netflix. The family hasn't seen you all day. They want to spend time with you. It's difficult, like, oh, I'll just play this one game on Xbox and then I'll study afterwards. Oh, just one more episode of your favorite Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever. And then before you know it, it's time to go to bed because you got to get up and work the next day at this job that you're trying to get out of. So it's difficult. You have to make sacrifices. And to make this kind of career change, you're going to have to make sacrifices. You're not going to, it's not going to be easy. Um, it's difficult. But you know what? I did it. And I was lucky. I went out, like I said, I started applying right away. I got a job before I got a single certification. I got into the career. I got 2 years under my belt with a wonderful, wonderful company that I absolutely love. I learned so much. And while I was working for that company, I was able to find time, and they even paid for me to get certified. They even allowed me, said, hey, if you have downtime, we're okay with you studying on the clock. Um, and that's kept me motivated because now not only was I having to study good and make sure because if I didn't pass the exam, they weren't going to pay for it. I had to pay for it out of my pocket. So I had to study extra hard, but they knew that I was studying and they would constantly check in on my progress. Oh, how's your studies coming along? Oh, when are you going to go take that exam? Oh, you haven't taken that exam yet? Wow, you're taking a little while to study. And that gave me some motivation to keep moving forward. Um, but I had to carve out time. I had to, when I got off of work, I had to say, I said hi to the family. I came home, and then I go into the office, close the door, and study for at least 20, 30 minutes. At least get that 20, 30 minutes of uninterrupted, solid study time every day. And, you know, I don't want to say it happened every day because there's days where I was just like, man, I got to mow the lawn. Oh, crud. It just dumped a bunch of snow outside. I got to go shovel snow. So, it, it's difficult. But if you're determined and you know this is what you want to do, you'll find ways to make time. Like I said, you might have to, okay, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, or Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Find like 3 days a week and say, okay, those are my study days. Instead of watching my favorite show on Netflix, I'm going to spend a half an hour. I'm going to take that time and study for my certification. It doesn't matter what you're studying for. And I did that when I studied for my A plus certification, and I got it, and I passed both of my tests on the first go. Right now, I'm studying for my Juniper Enterprise Networking certification, the Junos certification, and I'm working full time in a network tech position. I help my wife run a graphic design business that does decals and T-shirts. I am a content creator for you guys. I am restarting up this channel. I have three wonderful kids at home, and we live on a small urban farm, so I have animals to take care of. My days are pretty well packed, so finding time to study is difficult, but I still manage to find time. And it's just about, you have to understand what you're willing to sacrifice. Okay, it's Valentine's Day. I could be at home watching a movie, passing out on the couch, but I'm here try to encourage you that you got to just keep on pushing forward because there's hope. So I'm going to kind of dip into some of the tips to keep you motivated. And like I said, don't wait till you have your certification to start applying for that job you want or that next job. Maybe you're already in the career field, you got that help desk job, now you got your certification, and you want to go for another certification to advance yourself. Like I entered the IT field, I got that entry level job. End up turning that job into an advanced network engineering job, and now I'm a network tech, and my career goal is to become a network administrator or a systems administrator. Two kind of different roles, but very similar. I want to be in charge of the network. I want to be that guy who manages and knows every in and out about the network. So I'm applying towards that type of job that I want in the hope of one day I will be able to land that. But in the meantime, I'm studying for my other certifications at the same time. Because like I said, if you happen to land that next job, but you let them know you're currently studying, most employers in this field will understand and help you study and more than likely be willing to reimburse you at least for your certification cost, possibly even for your training as well. Certain employers might have a subscription to an online e-learning platform like CBT Nuggets or career questions, IT career skills. I mean, they IT career questions, IT Pro TV, Pluralsight. Some of these employers have a corporate level license for that and are more than willing to pay for you to continue your education because it's a benefit to them. You're more likely to stay with them. You are more you have more skills to offer the company. So, absolutely. So, excuse me. But just start applying. And when you're applying for these jobs, list on your resume, if you're applying for a job that requires a CCNA but you don't have your CCNA, put that on your resume that you are currently studying for your CCNA and you've scheduled your final exam. That will help you out tremendously. That will get you past these HR filters. That will get your foot into the door to talk to someone and let them know that you're studying. Let them know that you have a home lab. I haven't brought it in here. I haven't, you don't have to go as crazy as I did and buy a rack full of switches, but let them know stuff like that. I mean, if you do, let them know you open up Packet Tracer at least once a week and you lab out a network topology and you try different configurations. Let those employers know that, and that will give you some more motivation to continue to study. So, if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I am more than happy to answer them. I'm here to support you guys, and hopefully you find this video encouraging to carve out some time in your day. You'll have to give those sacrifice to better yourself for that next position. If you have family, counting on you, like I said, I have a wife and 3 children counting on me. We have bills to pay. I am constantly striving to better myself so I can better support my family. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters to me. So, if you guys don't have any questions, I am probably going to wrap this live stream up. I really hope you guys found this informative. If you have any questions, if you watch this on the replay, drop them in the chat. I always try to get back to everyone. to ask any questions and give my best advice. And if you have any suggestions of future live streams or videos you'd like to see, let me know as well in the chat. And for those of you who have been here for a while or just joining, we actually now have a Discord server. The link for that is down in the description. Go join us over at Discord. There's almost always someone on there that's willing to answer questions or help you advance your career in the IT field. Big bucks, no whammy. Hey bro, in studying for my A+, what type of home lab would you need? Here, let's bring that up on the screen. There we go. So, for your A+ certification, there's several different ways you can go. If you happen to have a bunch of old computers laying around like I did, what I did is I set those up. I tried installing different operating systems on there. When I would learn something in the A+, when I was studying for, I would go over to my lab and try setting it up on that. I try to, if it was formatting a spare hard drive, I would do that. I would actually go through that. Now, if you don't have tons of extra computers laying around like I happen to have, you always can make a virtual machine, a virtual box. You can download, VMware or VirtualBox and spin up a virtual operating system. That is one thing on your A+ certification you're going to need to know is how to install Windows, how to install Linux. So you could spin up a virtual machine and try different things you're learning and studying for on there. Let's see, another question. Currently studying for CCNA. Have been struggling to study for it. Also got a new job. Any tips for studying habits? Love your videos. Well, thank you. I always appreciate the support. I've been there. And I've started studying for the CCNA probably about 10 different times in the last 2 years. I keep on saying every time, too, this is the time I'm going to get my CCNA. And I should rephrase that, get recertified. I used to actually already have my CCNA back in my high school days. At the time, though, I wasn't interested in networking. I let it lapse. But now that I'm going after that network administrator job, it's more important than ever to have my CCNA certification. And like I was saying earlier in the stream, if you're like me and have no free time whatsoever, it's all about sacrifice. When you come home, instead of sitting on the couch and watching Netflix or something, spend 30 minutes studying for your certification. Depending on what e-learning platforms you use. Me personally, I use CBT Nuggets, which is a series of a bunch of short little videos and labs. And I'd be like, okay, before I do anything, I'm going to get at least through 5 videos. I'm going to get through 5 nuggets and, get that done and then see how I'm doing. And maybe I'll do a couple more. That's one thing I used to do. I'd schedule it for myself, and it sucks. Sometimes there you have your days where you just want to come home and do nothing, watch TV, hop on Xbox and play, a game with your friends. It's difficult, but you have to have the bigger picture in mind. You have to schedule yourself, come home, say hi to your family, go lock yourself in the room, and get that studying done for at least 30 minutes. Question. How about CCNA versus Juniper? If you would have asked me a few months ago, I would say CCNA 100%. And CCNA is still a very, very good certification. But recently, Juniper has released a completely free, they have released all their study material, complete Juniper certification course for free. And if you complete their course and their practice exams, they will give you a voucher so you can get your certification 100% free. That's what I'm actually currently doing right now. I actually, a while ago, I applied for a job as a knock technician, running a knock for a local ISP. For those of you who don't know what a knock is, it's a network operation center. It's it's where the entire organization's network comes into this network operations center, and it's what I'd be doing is be the person in charge of the entire network for this ISP for all these residents and businesses. And with that, I was like, oh, I'm studying for my CCNA. They're like, well, that's great and all, but we don't actually run any Cisco equipment. We run Juniper and Aruba. I'm like, oh, well, networking is networking, and that is true to an extent. Networking is networking. Once you understand the fundamentals, you can really apply that anywhere. It's just learning the slightly different lingo in their command prompts, their CLIs, the different commands you have to use. So I said, oh, that's fine. I already know networking. I just need to learn how Juniper switches work and their little nuances with their commands. And so I started studying, and I found out there's a completely free course out there by that Juniper offers. I think here, let me pull it up. It's I'm trying to remember the name of it. Just give me a second. I will actually drop a link for it in the chat. And I have to say, a shout out to Network Chuck. If you guys don't know him as well, go follow him on YouTube. But he is the one who told me about this. So it's Junos Genius. You can sign up for a free account, and there's the link to it in the chat. Sign up for a free account. You take their practice exam, and they will give you a voucher to take your exam for free. So go check it out. Juniper Genius. And it's for any of their certification paths as well. So in the long run, though, the CCNA is still the more recognized certification and will get you your foot in the door to more jobs. But free is free. You cannot beat that. So it's a really cool thing to know. I just think it's really cool to see a big company like Juniper put this material out, and it's really decent material. I spent probably a half an hour to an hour studying this afternoon. I had my son sitting alongside me, and yeah, I mean it's great because if you're someone like me that doesn't have a lot of money, it's something you can do. So. Do you use tablets? Do you use any tablets? I use several tablets. Are you referring to at home or at work? At work, I work for a school district, so one of my things I have to do is to support the tablets for all the students. I'm a network technician, but I also work on devices, Chrome devices, Windows laptops, and stuff like that. So yes, I do use tablets. I hope that was your question there. So, is Juniper better than Network Plus? That is a tough question. Again, Network Plus is a vendor neutral certification. It will tell you everything you need to know about networking for doesn't matter what, if you're working on Cisco, if you're working on Juniper, if you're working on HP, it will teach you everything you need to know, and it'll cover several different platforms. But Juniper is still free. I don't know how long they're going to do this for or how long they're going to offer it. But Juniper, this certification path they're offering is free. So I think it is great. Juniper is really making a name for themselves. And if you're interested in like an MSP or a working for an ISP, I think it seems like you're more likely to run into Juniper gear. At least that's what my experience has been in my local area. Tectonic tablets that you use. I do use tablets. I don't have anything great. I have an iPad or two for my kids. Um, uh, gosh, a Samsung something. I don't have any specific tablets that I use. Um, I'm not a big tablet guy. I have a killer machine, laptop. For work, I use a Surface Pro, a Microsoft Surface Pro. And that's pretty cool. If I could buy one of those for myself, I probably would. Excuse me. All right. That you use personally for work study. Yeah, I really don't study on tablets or work or anything. Like I said, for work, I use a Surface Pro. Otherwise I'm on my laptop. I have a very high end Lenovo laptop that I love to pieces. So that's what I mainly use. If you're just joining us, tonight we are talking about finding time to study for IT certifications and different techniques you can use and hacks you can use to advance your career and start interviewing for jobs that you're interested in before you have the certification. So if you have any questions, or if you just have general questions about the IT field or about anything in general, feel free to ask them. Put them in the chat. If you're watching this on the replay, drop them in the comments. I try to make a point to get back to everyone who comments. So yeah, feel free. Tectonic. All right. Yes, I was thinking about getting one due to its portability. Yes, I just don't find it that much more portable than a laptop. You know what I mean? I mean, if it's budget wise, you might look into getting a Chromebook. I just personally really like having the keyboard. Um, the on-screen keyboard or whatever is just never as good. So that's why I always tend to lean towards a laptop for doing actual work. If you're just watching videos, playing games, a tablet works great. So, but yeah, going back to that question earlier, what's better, Network Plus, Juniper, or CCNA? CCNA will get you the furthest. It is still, it's the industry standard. It's the most recognized certification in this industry. It sets the bar for all other certifications. Network Plus is a good entry level networking certification if you know nothing about networking at all and you are just kind of looking to get your feet wet in the networking realm to see if you like it. It's a vendor neutral certification. The CCNA is for Cisco equipment. The Juniper certification is for Juniper equipment. The Network Plus is for everything. The Juniper certification is the CCNA equivalent for Juniper products. What the Juniper certification has going for it right now is there is no cost involved with it. It is a free certification. Check out that link I dropped in the chat. It is a free certification path if you use their online learning platform, take their practice exams. You'll get a voucher to take your certification for free. So, could you get into more Python for networking? Python is used a lot in networking, depending on what you want to do in networking. Go over and check out Network Chuck. He has several videos where he talks about using Python for network automation and programming and stuff like that. If that's what you're looking to do in networking, then absolutely Python is very useful. I haven't quite got into that realm yet. I've started dipping my toe into that. Um, I am very much a Cisco Meraki guy. You can see I have a full Cisco Meraki deployment, firewall, switch, AP, and even a cellular gateway. That's a really interesting one, how I got that. I even have Cisco Meraki swag. I got a trophy there, got a mug. Anyways, that is a cloud-based platform that doesn't really use much Python, but I started getting into Cisco Meraki APIs and how it could do more with this networking gear than just your everyday networking. And there's a lot of DevOps involved with that. And if that's something you're interested in, this field is definitely making a shift towards that type of mindset. So as in knowledgeable, do we have to be with Python? Oh, how knowledgeable do we have to be with Python? Asking for someone who barely is knowledgeable in Python. I am barely knowledgeable in Python, and I can easily call myself a network engineer. I have engineered several networks for several different businesses from the ground up. I have designed the network for 3 different brand new hotels. I have redesigned networks for remodels of a couple of hotels. And at the time, I didn't know a lick of Python. It is not at all a job requirement to get into networking. If you want to get into network automation, absolutely learn Python. If you want to get into just the basic networking engineering, learn the basics, because you probably will still never use it. But it's good to know. So hopefully that answered your question. Thank you guys for tuning in this evening. If you have any more questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll probably be wrapping this live stream up here in a couple minutes, though. If you haven't gone over already, make sure and join our Discord. Brand new Discord server. Link is in the description below. You can find us on the major social media platforms. Oops, wrong way. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and even Patreon if you want to really support the channel, as we are a small, brand new channel. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys. If you have any more questions, as always, make sure and hit me up on any of the platforms or right here in the video description. Alrighty, guys. Well, I think I'm going to be wrapping things up tonight. I really enjoyed this, and I hope you guys found it informative. If you have any suggestions for future videos, please let me know. Thank you again, and I hope to see you next time.